On the seventh wedding anniversary, my junior, who had been secretly in love with my wife for 5 years, deliberately drove his car to hit me, claiming that he only loves Mile Uruyan, but he signed a letter of understanding while I was unconscious, not pursuing Ito Makoto's responsibility. When I woke up, Liu Uruyan said helplessly Ito Makoto was just confused for a moment. We can't ruin his life because of this incident. He just likes me too much. Looking at Liu Ruyan, who looked calm but couldn't hide her heartache, I knew that this marriage had deteriorated. What if I insist on pursuing it? I looked at Liu Ruyan calmly. Liu Ruyan looked at me with disapproval. You are a lawyer. You know how cruel it is to have a criminal record for a young person who has just entered society. Don't you often say that the law is nothing more than human feelings? Ito Makoto already knows he was wrong. He committed suicide because of this incident. Isn't the lesson he received enough? I looked at Liu Ruyan, who was aggressive towards me for another man expressionlessly, and felt unspeakable bitterness in my heart. When Liu Ruyan realized that her own was not good, she immediately stopped talking. I didn't speak up to help her out as I did in the past, but just looked at her indifferently. After a while, Liu Ruyan explained that she just couldn't bear to see a young person ruin his future and asked me not to think too much. I laughed softly and didn't say anything. Liu Ruyan was a little uneasy without my response, and she called me husband nervously. Before Liu Ruyan finished speaking, the nurse suddenly opened the door and said anxiously, Dr. Liu, the patient you sent yesterday woke up and wanted to commit suicide. Liu Ruyan's face changed. She left without looking back after saying, "I'll go and sit." Ito Makoto used to play similar tricks often, and I never took it too hard, but I didn't expect Liu Ruyan to be affected by him. Not long after, a notification popped up on my phone, which was an update from Ito Makoto. He said that he didn't have me in his heart, but he did things that loved me. The picture was Liu Ruyan examining him anxiously. I flipped up and saw a lot of similar dynamics, and almost every one of them had a photo of Liu Ruyan. It turns out that when I wasn't paying attention, they had so many intersections. Even at many points in time, Liu Ruyan told me that she was working overtime in the hospital, but now I know that the overtime she mentioned was actually with Ito Makoto most of the time. From Ito Makoto's VIBO, I clearly saw their development. In the middle of the night, I couldn't sleep, so I got up and walked to the window. The moment I looked out, I fixed my eyes on the two people not far downstairs. Senior sister, you have me in your heart. Otherwise, why would you care about me so much? Ito Makoto looked at Liu Ruyan with a cold expression excitedly. I just can't bear it. Ito Makoto interrupted her. Senior sister, don't lie to yourself. It doesn't matter to me as long as I can be with you. I don't ask for a name. Liu Ruyan's face flashed with a touch of emotion. Ito Makoto obviously saw the change in her expression and suddenly raised his hand to hold Liu Ruyan's face and kissed her. Liu Ruyan raised her hand and put it down, and after repeating it several times, she hugged him back like she accepted her fate. I looked at the two people kissing passionately in the night, lowered my head and laughed at myself. After a long time, when someone passing by made a sound, Liu Ruyan seemed to react suddenly and pushed Ito Makoto away. Ito Makoto was caught off guard and fell to the ground, but he was very happy and laughed out loud while sitting on the ground. "You Ruyan cursed lunatic in a low voice and then walked away. After I sneered, I lowered my head, sent a message, and turned back to the bed. Soon the other party replied with a really, and the next second the phone rang. When I was about to answer the call, Liu Ruyan pushed the door from outside and turned off the call. Liu Ruyan noticed that the window of my room could see the place where she and Ito Makoto had just kissed. A trace of guilt flashed across her face, but she quickly calmed down and asked tentatively, "Husband, why haven't you slept yet?" When I heard this name, I was sure of one thing in my heart. Liu Ruyan would only call husband when she was guilty or had something to ask of me. I didn't answer, but asked her calmly, "How is Ito Makoto?" Liu Ruyan was stunned for a moment before she said, "It's okay, just a child throwing a tantrum. As his attending physician, I can't just sit back and watch." When she finished this sentence, she realized that she had said the wrong thing. Ito Makoto fell on his head. No need to explain, I don't care. I interrupted Liu Yuan's lie without hesitation. Yuan frowned when she heard it. What do you mean by not caring? You know what Ito Mikoto and I can do. I hate people who pester me the most. Looking at her extremely excited emotions, I chuckled. You hate him the most. How could you have any contact with him, right? Liu Yuan's face straightened, and then she answered, yes. At this time, she pointed at my mobile phone that had been vibrating. Who is calling you in the middle of the night? I glanced at it and said inferently, it's a harassment call. Yuan didn't believe it and wanted to take my mobile phone, but I raised my hand to block it. She frowned and said unhappily, are you hiding any secrets from me? I said calmly, I am a lawyer, and there are many other people's privacy in my phone. Yuan opened her mouth, but couldn't say anything. I didn't look at her again and walked out with my phone. As soon as the call was connected, an excited female voice came from the receiver. Boda, do you really agree to come to my company as a legal consultant? Have you divorced Liu Yuan? Are you willing to be with me? I was buzzing in my ears by Lin Yui's excited voice. A long time ago, Lin Yue invited me to work as a legal consultant at Lin's, but I didn't agree because of Liu Yuan. After she invited me many times, I told her, only if I divorce Liu Yuan, I will work as a legal consultant at Lin's. At that time, Lin Yue sighed and complained to me, nonsense. Friends all know that Liu Yuan and I are very affectionate. Yuan gave up the family inheritance rights from me and chose to be an ordinary doctor in the hospital, but I didn't expect Liu Yuan to change her heart. Amid Lin Yui's repeated calls, I came to my senses. Well, we're preparing for a divorce. My words actually calmed Lin Yue down. She asked me in a daze, did something happen? I said calmly, let's talk about it when we have a chance. 1 week, I'll come to you in a week. Yuan came out of the ward at this time and happened to hear this. Who are you going to see in a week? After I said hang up to Lin Yue, I looked at Liu Yuan. I have an appointment with a client. We will meet in a week. Liu Yuan didn't ask much. She put her arm around my waist and said in a soft voice, Boda, I was too anxious in the afternoon. I signed the letter of understanding because I didn't want to owe Ito Makoto so much. You can understand me, right? After listening to Yuan's words, I believe that her original intention was like this. She probably didn't realize that her heart had left me. I smiled and said, I understand. I'm tired. I'll go back and dress first. When Yuan heard me say tired, she urged me to go back and dress. It's all my fault. Patients should rest more. I quarreled with you because of some trivial things. Looking at the guilt on her face that didn't seem fake, I couldn't understand her behavior today. I lowered my head to hide the sadness in my eyes. There was still a week to end it all. During the 3 days I was in the hospital, Liu Yuan came to the ward to accompany me after work every day. On the surface, everything seemed the same as in the past, but I knew that Liu Yuan would meet with Ito Makoto in the middle of the night every day. In the dynamics updated by Ito Makoto every day, I saw them go to the beach to watch the stars, cross the city to eat barbecue, and even tonight when Liu Yuan told me that she was on night shift all night, she went to the hotel with Ito Makoto. From the video sent by Ito Makoto, I heard him ask many times, does Liu Yuan have him in her heart? When I thought Yuan would not answer, I heard her say him with lust. My heart also died completely with this son. The next day, Liu Yuan came early and opened the door of my ward with breakfast. I looked at the name on the breakfast package in her hand. She was more than 10 kilometers away from the hospital, but just yesterday she was near the hotel in the city. Why did you run so far to buy breakfast? Yuan paused for a few seconds after opening the breakfast. I didn't have anything to do in the morning, so I drove to buy it. Don't you like it? You eat first. I'll go back to the department for a meeting. Not long after Liu Yuan left, the door of the ward was pushed open again. I looked up and saw Ito Makoto, and my reaction was calmer than I thought. Before he spoke, I told him, Liu Yuan is not here. Ito Makoto was stunned for a moment, and said with a little pride, I know that senior sister is not here. I just sent her clothes back. Sending clothes. I sneered. If you really want to send clothes, why would you send them to me? I glanced at the coat in his hand, took it and threw it aside, and said calmly, Thank you. Ito Makoto was unwilling to accept it, and he asked me, Why aren't you curious why the clothes are in my hand? I continued to eat breakfast without caring. What can a piece of clothing mean? Maybe it was thrown to you casually. Ito Makoto glared at me angrily, seen your sister yesterday. Before he finished speaking, Liu Yuan suddenly pushed the door in. Why are you here? When she saw Ito Makoto in the ward, her face froze. Senior sister, I came to send you clothes. Thank you for your clothes yesterday. Liu Yuan looked at him impatiently. Nothing. Hurry up. Ito Makoto heard this, looked at Liu Yuan with hurt eyes, and then turned and left. As soon as the door of the ward was closed, Liu Yuan explained to me anxiously, Boda, don't listen to his nonsense. I have nothing to do with him. He had no clothes when he was discharged from the hospital yesterday, so I lent him clothes. I didn't expect him to come to you with clothes and talk nonsense. I finished the last mouthful of porridge and then slowly spoke. He didn't say anything, just said he came to return the clothes. A trace of regret flashed in Liu Yuan's eyes. Maybe she regretted that she said too much, and she felt that she was trying to cover up something, but she could only say coldly, that's fine. At this time, Liu Yuan's phone rang, and I saw the words A Ching flashing on the screen. After Liu Yuan glanced at her phone, she said there is an emergency in the department and left. Listening to her increasingly skilled lies, I smiled bitterly and began to prepare a divorce agreement for myself. When Liu Yuan came back, her lips were red. I looked away after a glance, but she touched her lips involuntarily. When Liu Yuan saw the divorce agreement on my screen, she was flustered for a moment. Boda, are you a commercial lawyer? Why are you suddenly looking at the divorce agreement? I perfunctorily said, I prepared it for a friend. Liu Yuan wanted to ask something else, but her cell-phone rang with the ringtone of the exclusive department. There is a patient in the department who needs emergency treatment. I'm leaving first. Watching her hurriedly leaving, I buried my head and continued to work on my divorce agreement. The next day, when I finished the discharge procedures, Liu Yuan appeared in the ward tiredly. Yesterday, there were consecutive patients in the department who needed to be rescued. I was busy all night. I didn't ask about her well-being when I heard her tired voice as I did in the past. I just said calmly, thank you for your hard work. Liu Yuan was a little annoyed by my lukewarm attitude these days. Jiboda, what's wrong with you these days? It's just signing a letter of understanding. Why can't you understand me? I looked at her calmly and didn't answer this question. My law firm has urgent matters to deal with. I have something important to tell you in the evening. Come back early. After saying that, I didn't wait for her to reply and took my things and left. After returning to the law firm, I printed out a transfer letter and went to see my partner. We had already communicated before, and from then on, I would handle Lynn's affairs. After communicating about this matter, I took the divorce agreement home, but I waited until 10 o'clock in the evening, and there was no news from our Yuan Liu. I refreshed Weibo and saw that Koto Ito had updated a dynamic 10 minutes ago. In the picture, he and our Yuan Liu were kissing under the starry sky. I took a look at the location on Weibo, which was the beach where I proposed to our Yuan Liu before. I took the divorce agreement and drove directly to the place on the location. Before I got close, I heard someone shouting, promise him, promise him. Amid the shouting of people around her, our Yuan Liu slowly nodded. After the crowd dispersed, Makoto Ito walked back with our Yuan Liu, his face full of joy. The moment Liu Yuan looked up and saw me, the smile on her face disappeared. She was so frightened that her expression was distorted. Husband, why are you here? The look in my eyes when I looked at Liu Yuan was unprecedented indifference. I am here, love. When Liu Yuan wanted to say something, I handed her the divorce agreement and said coldly, Liu, Yuan, let's get a divorce. Liu Yuan's pupils instantly dilated as I said this. Boda, are you kidding me? I was just joking with Ito Makoto just now. There are so many people around. It wouldn't look good if I refuse. Her voice trembled slightly. Are you joking with me too? I stretched out the divorce agreement in my hand, my eyes serious. Do you think I'm joking with you? Liu Yuan's eyes began to read in husband. Believe me, I have nothing to do with Ito Makoto. He just pestered me. Every word she said was sincere. If I hadn't seen Ito Makoto's VIBO, I would really believe what she said. I glanced at the pale Ito Makoto behind her and smiled sarcastically. Your boyfriend is about to break. Are you sure you don't want to see it? Liu Yuan's face flashed a trace of hesitation, and she quickly made up her mind and said, Don't talk nonsense. I just agreed to him for his face. I will never contact him again. I will delete him now. As she said that, she took out her old phone and wanted to block all the contact information of Ito Makoto. Ito Makoto pulled Liu Yuan with a sad face. Senior sister, I won't disturb you, can you? Liu Yuan pushed him away impatiently. It's all your fault. It's you who made Boda misunderstand me. Don't show up in front of me again. I watched the play they performed, and a sarcastic smile appeared at the corner of my mouth. Ito Makoto looked at her with a sad face, and Liu Yuan was cruel, so she pulled me unturned to leave. Ito Makoto's eyes were full of unwillingness and malice. After Liu Yuan pulled me away, I shook off her hand. The play is over. Can we sign now? When Liu Yuan heard what I said, she looked at me in confusion. Acting? Jiboda? What do you mean? I chuckled. I saw that you guys were having a lot of fun acting, so I laughed with you for a while. A trace of guilt flashed across her face, and she argued that she didn't know what acting was. I looked at her quietly without saying a word. After a while, Liu Yuan turned her head away. Don't bother me anymore. Sign the divorce agreement and go through the divorce procedures tomorrow, I said coldly. When Liu Yuan wanted to say something, Ito Makoto caught up with her from behind. Senior sister, divorce him. I will treat you well. He doesn't know how to cherish you. Before he finished speaking, Liu Yuan slapped him hard. What nonsense are you talking about? Why would I divorce Boda? I played those tricks with you because I felt sorry for you before. Ito Makoto opened his eyes unconsciously. Senior sister, are you serious? Liu Yuan didn't say anything, but turned her head away reluctantly. Ito Makoto's eyes were red instantly. I looked at the two of them with a sarcastic smile on my lips. Liu Yuan took my hand. Boda, I won't contact him again. Don't get me wrong. After all, he is still young. I put the divorce agreement in her hand. You sign the divorce agreement, and what you do has nothing to do with me. After that, I turned and walked towards the car. Liu Yuan held my hand tightly and begged bitterly, Boda. I shook her hand off fiercely. Liu Yuan, I don't want to make things so ugly. Just sign it. You also know that I'm a lawyer. I can give you the agreement. I must have evidence in my hand. Liu Yuan was stunned, and I got in the car and left before she could react. From the rearview mirror, I saw Ito Makoto hugging Liu Yuan from behind. Liu Yuan shook off his hand and the two quarreled. After returning home, I began to pack my things. This house was bought by Liu Yuan before marriage. We felt it was unnecessary and lived here all the time. Looking at the wedding photo on the wall, the scene of the original marriage came to my mind. I lost my parents when I was young. When I got married, Liu Yuan took my hand and walked to her parents and solemnly told me that I would have my own family in the future. She swore that she would stay with me all her life. I believed it, but the person who said this had changed his heart without knowing it. Thinking of this, I glanced at the sunlight outside the window, took down the wedding photo on the wall, and tore out the side that belonged to me. At that moment, I felt relieved inexplicably in my heart. So I got rid of all the things about me in the house. At the moment when Liu Yuan opened the door, I was throwing the couple's cup into the trash can. Seeing this, she immediately rushed over and wanted to pick up the cup from the trash can, but when she saw the things in the trash can, she stopped and looked up at me in disbelief. Did you throw all these things away? I looked at her coldly. If you want, just take it. After that, I pulled the suitcase and prepared to leave. Liu Yuan held my hand tightly. I said I would not contact Ito Makoto in the future. Are you still not satisfied? I looked back at her impatient expression and smiled. Not to mention that you have agreed to someone else's courtship, didn't you, to sleep together before? My words made Wyan's face flash with a trace of guilt. What are you talking about? Before she spoke again, I played the video I had saved before in front of Yan. Yan's face became pale little by little with the video, and finally she stammered a few times, but couldn't say anything. I didn't intend to talk nonsense with her. I glanced at the time on the screen, shook off her hand, and left. I pulled my suitcase and stayed in a nearby hotel. Not long after, I received a message from Wyatt saying that she was willing to sign a divorce agreement. I asked her to meet me at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau the next morning. The net Wyan at the entrance of the Civil Affairs Bureau, and I handed her the divorce agreement. Voda. Wyan said that she came to explain the video issue to me this time. The video was taken by Ito Makoto after he drugged me. I was not aware of it. Didn't my husband say ignorance is not a crime? I frowned unconsciously when I heard her. I didn't expect that Wyatt would lie to me at this time. The kiss in the hospital before I saw it with my own eyes. Were you also drugged or hypnotized? At the end of my speech, my voice unconsciously carried a hint of a low roar. After all, after so many years of feelings, I was suddenly betrayed, and I was not as calm as I seemed. Yan's face froze, and she wanted to continue to quibble, but she couldn't say anything. I pinched my nose tiredly, signing I don't want to entangle with you anymore. Yan's eyes were red, and she whispered I'm sorry, and then she took the divorce agreement and walked into the Civil Affairs Bureau first. The divorce procedure was done very quickly. I looked at the paper in my hand that said, 30-day cooling off period for divorce. See you in 30 days. I turned and left, but Yan took my hand and said, Voda, although I signed the agreement, I will not give up. I did not answer and left you quickly. I returned to the hotel and took my luggage and went straight to the airport. When the plane took off, I posted a circle of friends, say goodbye to the past. When the plane landed, I saw a group of friends I hadn't seen for a long time at the airport, and Lin Wei was standing at the head. They all rushed up to me. You are finally back. It's good to be back. The room is ready for you. Listening to these people's voices, my heart seemed to be filled with a stream of warmth. Lin Wei was in the crowd, looking at me with a faint smile on his lips. I walked up to him and said with a smile, Hello, Mr. Lin, I'm here to report. Lin Wei couldn't help laughing. Let's go. I prepared a welcoming banquet for you. They took me to the hot pot restaurant they used to like to go to together. After 3 rounds of drinking, a friend said, Boda, consider Wei this time when you come back. She has been waiting for you for so many years. It is an open secret in the circle of friends that Lin Wei likes me. I smiled and said, I don't want to think about this kind of thing now. Making money is important. A trace of disappointment flashed across Lin Wei's face, but he quickly teased me, Do you want to make money from me? This topic was quickly turned over. In the end, Lin Wei sent me home half drunk. I haven't seen you for 2 years. Your alcohol tolerance has become worse. I chuckled. She doesn't like it and rarely drinks. Yan can't smell alcohol. When I'm with her, I almost don't drink. Hearing this, Lin Wei's smile froze for a few seconds, and then he poured me honey water without saying a word. I looked at the honey water in his hand and was a little surprised. How can there be honey in this? Lin Wei said unhappily, I bought it. Otherwise, the house would pop honey by itself. Hearing this, I remembered that when a group of us got drunk, Lin Wei would send us home, and I always had one more glass of honey water than them. I closed my eyes and suddenly felt a little apologetic. I'm sorry, Before I could finish my words, Lin Wei interrupted me directly. Boda, you know what I want is not I'm sorry. I've been used to it for so many years. Having said that, I couldn't say anything more. The next morning, I was awakened by a call from Yan. She asked me what I wanted to eat for breakfast as usual. I was stunned for a while before I said coldly, We are divorced. Yan's tone was obviously sad. We can still have breakfast together even if we are divorced? Can't we be friends? I'm not interested in being friends with you. Don't contact me if you don't have anything to do. After that, I hung up the phone and blocked her contact information. When I was about to get up and wash up, the doorbell rang. When I opened the door, it was Lin Yu Wei standing at the door with breakfast in her hand. She said with a smile on her face, Boda, I made breakfast for you. I blinked. Why did you come around to bring me breakfast? Lin Yuwei pointed to the opposite door and said, I live here. Lin Yuwei's feelings for me have always been open and above board. Even though I knew about this, I didn't feel awkward when I was with her. After breakfast, when we were about to go out, my cell phone rang again. It was an unfamiliar number. After answering it, I realized it was Liu Ruyan. I went to your law firm and they said you applied for an external transfer. Where did you go? I didn't expect her to go to the law firm. This has nothing to do with you, right? My words obviously hurt Liu Wei's heart. Why doesn't it have anything to do with you? I want to see you, Boda. Let's go out. Liu Yuwei didn't finish her words when she heard Lin Yuwei's voice. She immediately roared in a low voice. Why is there Lin Yuwei's voice? Chiboda, how come you are with Lin Yuwei? I was not surprised at all by your Yuwei's reaction. Lin Yuwei was the thorn in her heart. I didn't answer and hung up the phone. That day, Liu Yuwei called me countless times and sent me many messages, all asking about Lin Yuwei and me. I pretended not to see anything. Lin Yuwei happened to come to see me, and when we went to eat, my phone kept ringing. She raised her eyebrows, pointed at the phone, and asked, Can you answer it yourself? I said without raising my head, Answer it if you want. Lin Yuwei picked up the phone eagerly, and after hello, Liu Yuan's roar came from the receiver immediately. How can you answer Boda's call? What's your relationship? When Lin Yuwei heard her, the smile on the corner of his mouth became bigger. What do you want to talk to him about? Boda is busy. Lin Yuwei's words made Yuan even more crazy. Amid her screams, Lin Yuwei hung up the phone. Lin Yuwei, who had angered Liu Yuan to the point of collapse, was in a good mood. Let's go eat. I'm in a good mood and I'll treat you to sashimi. I looked at the table full of sashimi and knew that what Lin Yuwei said just now was not a lie. Eat, don't you like sashimi? While eating, I looked at Lin Yuwei, who couldn't hide his smile. She didn't care and date by herself. That afternoon, a colleague from the law firm sent me a message saying that Liu Yuan was in the law firm in the afternoon. She asked everyone in the law firm where I was, but no one told her about my transfer. Liu Yuan collapsed and yelled at the door of the law firm, completely unlike her usual cold appearance. Looking at the crazy Liu Yuan in the video, I turned off the screen of my mobile phone and fearfully continued to work. Just when I thought I would never see Liu Yuan again, I saw her at the door of the company after get off work a week later. I walked away with a frown on my face. Liu Yuan walked towards me quickly. Boda, come home with me. Stop arguing with me. I was so angry that I laughed. I'm here to work. Liu Yuan didn't believe it. You're just arguing with me. I know that. Otherwise, why would you choose to work here? I didn't want to argue with her too much, so I planned to walk past her and leave. But Liu Yuan was screaming loudly behind me like a madman. I hadn't walked a few steps when she grabbed my hand. Boda, please come back with me, please. I looked at her impatiently. Liu Yuan, we are over, we are divorced. Liu Yuan refused to give up. When she was about to say something, Lin Yuwei's voice came from behind. Dr. Liu, you are cheating and want to go back. You have taken all the good things in the world, right? Liu Yuan's face became even uglier. She said with a sullen face, Lin Yuwei, you are haunting me. Lin Yuwei was not angry either. She smiled at Liu Yuan and then deliberately took my hand. Boda, my mother knows you are back and asked me to take you home for dinner. I looked at Lin Yuwei in surprise. She didn't tell me about this. My family and Lin Yuwei's family are old friends, but seeing her winking at me, I agreed directly. Yuan choked up and said, Boda, you promised me not to associate with him before. You can't. Because she minded my relationship with Lin Yuwei, I automatically stayed away from Lin Yuwei. and naturally I gradually drifted away from the group of friends I used to have. But I didn't expect that I could still play with them like I used to when I came back this time. I looked at Liu Wang coldly. I have forgotten everything in the past. You don't still remember what I said casually at the beginning, do you? After that, I took the initiative to hold Lin Yuwei's hand and leave here, and Liu, our Yu Wan's crying did not affect my pace of leaving at all. She and I already belonged to the past, and the past did not affect my path to the future. Lin Yue told me about going home with her for dinner. I thought it was just a casual remark, but when I really stood in front of the Lin family's door, I was a little overwhelmed. Lin Yue urged me to hurry up inside the door. I didn't bring anything with me. I haven't been to the Lin family for a long time. This time I was brought by Lin Yue, and I was a little nervous. When I was struggling with my mind, Lin's father and mother suddenly came out. When she saw me, her eyes were red. Boda, you are back. Auntie hasn't seen you for a long time. I hurried over and held her hand. After my parents died unexpectedly, Lin's father and mother treated me as their own son and even asked me to go home with them. But at that time, my grandparents took me away from the city. I didn't get in touch with them again until I grew up. When I saw the table full of dishes I liked, my eyes were a little sore. Since my parents passed away, I rarely ate these dishes. At first, I was living under someone else's roof and didn't dare to ask for anything. Later, these dishes were sealed in my memory. I blinked my sore eyes and started to use my chopsticks. After a meal, things from the past kept emerging in my mind. When I lay in bed at night, my thoughts suddenly returned to the time when I first met Liu Yuan. That day, after I paid tribute to my parents, I drove back to the law firm to work as usual. While waiting for the traffic light, I saw Ui being hit by a middle-aged man. Out of professional ethics, I kindly told the man the result of being caught for fraud and suggested that Liu Yuan call the police. The man thought that I had ruined his good thing, and in a rage he smashed the drill in his hand at me. I was injured because I couldn't avoid it for a while. Yuan anxiously checked my wound. After treating the wound, she said that it was because of her and asked for my contact information. We were together half a year after we met. When I received a call from Liu Wang in a daze the next day, I couldn't react for a moment. Boda, I made your favorite cakes and waited for you at the door of your company. When I wanted to answer okay with sleepy eyes, I suddenly reacted, Liu Yuan, you don't have to do these meaningless things. When she saw me working with Lin Yue, she took my hand and asked down divorcing me, right? In fact, you have changed your mind. You insisted on divorcing me, right? In fact, you have her sarcastic smile on the corner of my mouth. I heard a sarcastic smile on the corner of my mouth. The UYN. If this reason makes if you stop pestering me, I will tell you yes. Don't think that everyone will betray it and other one will betray their significant other like you. Betray their significant you. How can you steal? After that, I said to Lin Yue beside me, in the future, tell the security guards not to let irrelevant people get close to the company. I thought that since I said it so decisively this time, Liu Yuan would give up and leave, but the next morning, I was awakened by a knock on the door. I glanced at the time, wondering why Yu Wei was up so early today. Why are you so? My words stopped abruptly when I saw Yuan's face. Why are you here? Yuan told me as if nothing had happened that she followed me home yesterday. This is the porridge you have always liked to eat. I cooked it early in the morning. Would you like to try it? Boda, please give me another chance, okay? I was just soft-hearted before. I won't do it again in the future. I frowned, and before I could say anything, the door of Lin Yue's house opened. She leaned against the door frame in her pajamas, smiled, and said, Boda doesn't actually like porridge, don't you know? The smile on Yuan's face froze instantly. She asked me in a daze, is what Lin Yue said true? I nodded inferently yes. Liu Yuan didn't want to believe it. She said, impossible. I said before that what I like to eat. Before I could speak, Liu Yuan's cell phone rang, and the anxious voice of the person on the other end of the receiver came out clearly. Dr. Liu, you are on the hot search. Take a look. Liu Yuan frowned and asked impatiently, what is the hot search? Someone put a photo of you in bed on the internet, and the dean asked you to come back immediately. Liu Yuan's face turned pale immediately. She looked at me in panic and left. I took out my phone and saw the pop-up message, beautiful doctor cheated on her husband and took nude photos. I swiped the message away and went to wash up. That night, the video of Liu Yuan and Dito Makoto arguing in the hospital was on the hot search again. In the video, Ito Makoto's face was hideous. He held a knife on his wrist and yelled at Liu Yuan, "Senior sister, you said you would be with me. Everything in my house is ready. Why did you suddenly regret it? I can't live without you. If you don't come with me, I will die." Liu Yan looked at him coldly and said inferently that she could not be with him. "The person I love is not you at all." Ito Makoto looked crazy when he heard this, and he cut his hand again and again with a knife. After this incident became a hot search, Liu Yuan was dismissed by the hospital. Ito Makoto became a vegetable due to excessive blood loss and brain hypoxia. After Ito Makoto's parents knew about this, they took Liu Yuan into court and asked Liu Yuan for compensation. "I saw Liu Yuan again after the divorce cooling off period ended. She looked haggard, her eyes were blue, and she didn't look as high-spirited as before. Go in." After that, I took the lead in walking into the Civil Affairs Bureau. After coming out with the divorce certificate, she said "I'm sorry" to me with red eyes. I heard that her lawsuit against Ito Makoto's parents would go to court tomorrow, so I didn't take Lin Yue's car. "Congratulations on your freedom." I took the flowers from Lin Yue's hand and said, "Let's go, they are still waiting." A year later, Lin Yue and I got married, and Lin's parents were so happy that they couldn't stop smiling. We didn't plan to have a wedding. The day after I posted the marriage certificate to my circle of friends, I received a strange text message, "Wish you happiness." I deleted the message and continued to watch movies with Lin Yue in my arms. My life will continue to be happy in the future.